Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And I am here today to just... Someone has already asked if this stream is unboomered, and let me assure you it is not, ladies and gentlemen, at all unboomered. Change the heading, change the everything. Change the everything. Here we go. So just stick with me for a second while I go ahead and fix this. There we go. There we go. There's the heading. Why don't you build your own stupid internet, idiot? Oh, I am so sorry to be late, and I am so sorry I am not fully prepared and unboomered for you guys. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. What is it? Go away. All this stuff. I'm trying to get a couple final things set up. This is not the correct document. This is Matt Fury versus Alex Jones. And guys, I've got good news on Matt Fury versus Alex Jones. They have been ordered to binding arbitration, which means that is to be completed, I think, as early as May of next year. So we get to hear nothing about it for like ever. Maybe ever again. Maybe ever again. It might get resolved. It might have a private resolution. So if you're looking for Matt Fury versus Alex Jones information, if something comes out, I'll let you know. But it's been a while. But guys, this isn't the important stuff. This isn't the important stuff. The important stuff is we've got a couple news stories, and these are news stories that should start to concern all of you. All of you, all of me, all of everybody. We need to start paying attention to this stuff, and so I'm going to hammer on it when these things pop up. Alex Jones has sued Patreon? No. PayPal. Worse than Patreon. Alex Jones has sued PayPal because just the other day, PayPal decided, oh wait, you're not a person who exists anymore. We forgot. Our bad, bro. Get out. Get out. We're not going to service you anymore. I mean, sure, a bunch of people want to pay for your services, and your services are legal and protected by free speech and all of that stuff. But we just don't want to do it. Right? So just find someone else. Will you do that? That's one. I know. It's Alex Jones. Who cares, right? He's looking at hernias from Charlie Sheen. He's ripping his shirt off. He's running around banging gay frogs or whatever he's doing. I don't know. It doesn't. It's Alex Jones. He's a crazy man. He's a crazy man. Gab. You know that other Twitter full of Nazis and terrorists or whatever? That's Gab, right? That's where you go when you're on Twitter detention. You're like, oh, I do have friends here. Gab exists. Gab is... Everybody says, just go try and make your own stupid internet or your own service. Gab did that. They're like, you know what? Twitter's a bunch of jerks. They're kicking people off. They're blocking people. They're shutting them down. We're going to build this alternative platform over here by ourselves and invite politely people to come and hang out on Gab. And it's like Twitter. It's fast communication. It's short stuff. We're doing it ourselves. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to be pro-free speech and opposed to censorship and let unpopular opinions on our platform. Because, I don't know, maybe that's what some people want, is just a place where we can say pretty much whatever we want that isn't illegal but might be unpopular, and not get banned from talking to the other people who want to hear that stuff. Maybe that's what someone wants. And let those people have a place to just go do it. No. Why would we do that? Why would we let someone build their own service to do that when we could be busy stopping them from doing that by being PayPal, notice a trend, and Stripe? PayPal and Stripe have threatened, they haven't done it yet, to pull all funding from Gab. And when I say pull funding from Gab, I mean your funding. You want to pay Gab? How are you going to do it? Mail them cash? You can't do it. You gotta have a payment processor. I talked about this the other day, guys. People don't believe this. They don't believe this is happening. They're like, no, of course. Of course you'll always be able to go where you want for the services you want. You can go have your little Nazi diner and eat your little swastikakes or whatever you're going to do. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Go hang out with Hitler. Except you can't. You can't do it because they can't do business if the places that process the money from me to them or you to them or you to me don't let you pay. If they don't let you pay, how do you do business, right? Well, you just do a cash-based business, right? You just tie up your dollar bills to carrier pigeons and send them flying across and hope the Amazon drones don't go and trap them and take them back to Amazon HQ for Jeff Bezos to bathe in money while he sacrifices children. And you can say this on Gab, but you maybe can't say it on Twitter. But you can't pay Gab anymore. You can't do it. So how are you going to do it? Somebody out there tell me how you're going to build your own internet when these cucks come out and they won't let you. They just won't let you. They'll tell you all day, well, go make your own service. And then they won't let you. But keep telling me about it. Keep telling me that speech is free. Keep telling me it's just private businesses. On the next note, have you heard of a company called Apple and a fat guy called Alex Jones? I hope so. I hope you're calling about, you've heard of Alex Jones because I just talked about him. He's peak manliness. Right after Putin is Alex Jones on the list of ideal male body shapes. Okay, so Tim Cook, gay CEO of Apple, right? Hey, Tim Cook, remember 30 to 40 years ago where if you came out as gay, remember 15 years ago, remember 10 years ago, remember 5 years ago when you were afraid to publicly come out as gay because you thought you would be silenced because you're gay? Remember that? How about Alex Jones can't come out as gay because you removed him from the internet? You took out Alex Jones's opportunity to be transformed into a gay frog by phosphorus and come out online. You took it away. And in an interview with Gizmodo, which we're going to cover in a minute, you just said, you know what? I think we can all agree that if you're going to curate content, and Apple's always been a content curator, we've always picked and choose what our people get to watch. We've always done that. And if that's what they want, that's what they want. And since we've always done that, I think we can all agree that if you're going to remove someone from the internet, it's Alex Jones. You just specifically said that. But Alex Jones doesn't get the same platform as you. And 20, 30 years ago, even 5 years ago, according to you, neither did gay people. Alt-right's the new gay, y'all. Take notes, society. You excluded LGBTQ for so long and you silenced them for so long that they came back and the pendulum swung. Only this time it was ridden by like Lindsay, or not Lindsay. Oh, I'm killed the joke. Miley Cyrus riding that pendulum wrecking ball right into your stupid society, right? And shattering all the LGBT walls. And now the LGBT are in power. And what do? Blood cycle like some ancient tribalistic warlord? Yeah, they just silenced all their detractors. What do you think happens? What do you think happens when the alt-right comes back? What do you think happens in the next couple decades? You dummies. What are you thinking? Do you think they're gonna play nice when they get back? They're gonna force you to subscribe to Gab, and they're gonna just send you Nazi memes all day. All day! All right. All right, guys. I apologize for the opening monologue, but I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of this stupid idea that we have freedom. We don't. We're controlled by a technocratic oligarchy. Welcome to like every dystopian cyberpunk novel's prelude, because you're in it. You're in it. We're giving our rights to a government we don't elect, paid for by a majority of people who are watching cat videos. Their rights will never be infringed because cats are universally cute. And people will always want to see kittens, and the kittens pay the stupid bills. But the kittens aren't important speech. And the important speech is what will get shut down. And it's happening right in front of you. And we've got a bunch of libertarians. Me, super libertarian, independent, pro-business, individualistic, pro-free choice. I'm with you. But we've got a bunch of you who can't figure out that they're not acting in that way, right? You've got the non-aggression principle, and they've violated it. They've woken you up. Wake up from your nap or whatever stupid analogy you want. It's going away. And we can't get it back because we won't be able to advocate for the law to fix it when we're all kicked off of being people. All right. Okay. So, there's my morning. There's my morning. Not morning. There's my intro. There's my intro for you. Conan O'Brien gets a monologue where he gets to like, whee, and bounce around or whatever. That's what I've got for you today. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to start pulling up some of this stuff on my screen and get it put into PDF format. So while I do that, I'll try and answer some stuff in the chat and address a couple super chats that have come in. Thank you so much. I really always appreciate the super chats. And today is going to be a little bit of ranting, a little bit of theory. We're going to be going through articles, and we're going to culminate with Alex Jones's lawsuit against PayPal, not Patreon. Culminate with Alex Jones's lawsuit against PayPal. We're going to read through it, and assuming it's not like a million pages, I haven't read it yet. And we're going to take a clean look at it and start looking at the points his lawyers are making. And we're going to start looking at the points that we need to be making and see if there are obvious counter arguments and deficiencies. Guys, this is a weird area. This is a weird area of law. It's a weird area for our country, trying to force businesses to give people platforms. It's almost, I don't know if we've ever done it before. Where in history, I mean, where would we ever force a business to serve someone? It's a joke. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. And if you're not going to apply it fairly, then you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't force one group of people to serve another group of people. 13th Amendment. You can't do that. You either got to enforce it evenly and principled, or you don't enforce it at all and let us run our own Wild West show. It'd be hard to do the second one, because you've been building up this system for 200 years against a Wild West show. And it didn't start with big business. It started with protectionist policies from fake tough guys like Teddy Roosevelt, all the way to guys who stand for nothing like FDR. Let's be offensive in this stream. let's be a little offensive. I don't know how to do that without profanity, so we're going to try. We're going to make fun of we're going to make fun of crippled presidents. We're going to make fun of fake tough guy presidents. We're going to make fun of anybody I can think of. FDR couldn't stand or FDR wouldn't stand. I'm leaving that for you to decide. All right. So, Shayla. Hey, Nick, just wanted to buy you a drink. I got a 166 on the LSAT a few days ago, and this is the first time I could watch live recently. Cheers. Shayla, congratulations. That's a fantastic score. You're doing great. Stick with it. Stick with it. Do something good for the world. Fix this. Help me fix it. But I wish you the best. If you need help or advice for getting into law school, shoot me a DM. Anything I can do. If you need, as you start going through it, if you need just some encouragement or ideas, shoot me a DM. All right? Don't get lost in it. It's going to get stressful. I'm happy to help people out in that way. Least I can do. Guys, I've had support my entire life from all sorts of people. It's the least I can do is to help people that are going through something I went through, and don't ever feel bad in sending me a message or whatever. And thank you, of course, for the chat. Next, painful buggery. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Sounds like you might need to be sent to Gab, sir. I wonder if Tim Cook would find your name offensive. Oh my. All right. I work at a university and I was listening to your Bad Hombre stream. Coworker came in right as he loudly says child pornography. I didn't get HR'd. Oh, you're lucky, buddy. Well, thank you for watching that. Thank you for watching that. I'll talk about what's coming for the rest of the week as I get into these documents. Glad to see someone caught swastikakes. Swastikakes. Where are we going anymore? Is this my Howard Dean moment? We're going for free speech and we're gonna win. No joke. I went to law school with a guy who was on that Howard Dean campaign. And he was talking about how they were all crying. Oh my gosh. When he did that, holy cow. What a terrible, terrible situation that was. Sidebar. Hold on. I'm printing off this Gab email here. We're going to go through it. Sidebar about the guy who was on that Howard Dean campaign. Terrible human. Terrible person. Hey, Don. You're awful. Hope you're watching. Scumbag. All right. Let's see. I need a new freedom folder. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we got Gab email. Save this. Look at that. Oh, hope I didn't dox myself. Nope, we're good. We're good. What do we even have here? What's going on? All right, let's go through this first. What is this? One page? Oh my God. What a terrible job this was. All right, we're going to do this. We'll do this, and I'll just read through the rest. But here's the beginning of the email. All right, let me make sure this is showing up. Okay. All right. All right, all right, all right, all right. There's one more super chat. I want to make sure and address this. This is from JP4. I have a friend who wants to know if it's okay to have a lawyer that has a name that rhymes with his. I don't know. Maybe we should watch the Diversity in Comics suit and see how Mark Waid's lawyer, Mark Zaid, works out. We'll see how that goes. Because maybe it's a great idea to have a lawyer whose name rhymes with you because you get to meme yourself into victory, right? Like, real talk for a second. Mark Waid, like, made fun of people making fun of Mark Waid, Mark Zaid. Buddy, it was a clever little joke. And then he made the joke, like, after denigrating the idea of having the joke. Yes, I think it's okay, but we'll see as we watch the Diversity in Comics lawsuit progress. And guys, any news on that, and you will have it as soon as I get the news. You'll have the news. And I am still working on a Mark Zaid interview. So he agreed on Twitter. He agreed to it. So we'll see if he still agrees to it, but I need to contact him in a professional way and work out some details. So, all right. All right. Will I cover the story about the woman who sued the Indianapolis Police Department for being bit by a canine when she stepped on her front porch? Maybe. Send me a link somewhere. I haven't seen it. Let's see. Andrew Gluck, we'll have to talk about it. Maxwell, we'll have to talk about it. Gotta have a good reason. Let's see. If you dox yourself, I'm coming to get some of that sweet, sweet booze. Come find me in Minnesota, and I'll just share some with you. And then maybe it's time to build our own freaking internet. What does this crap even mean? To me, that means removing controlled centralization with powers like ARIN, W3C, DNS registries, etc. It does. Good luck. Good luck. Maxwell, yeah, sue yourself and get on the show. Suing yourself is a thing people have tried. We'll have to talk about that on a stream sometime. All right, here we go. Gab. Hello, everyone. It's interesting how we've never had any issues with either of our payment processors for over 2 years now. But all of a sudden, when Gab.com is the only platform on the internet to host Alex Jones and defend free expression for all people, we become the target. Right? Guys, how dangerous is Alex Jones? How right is Alex Jones? Because it kind of looks like Alex Jones maybe has it all I mean, can you believe it? Like, what are they so scared of? What are they so scared of with Alex Jones? It's nuts. It's nuts. Okay. In the last 2 weeks, both of our payment processors have threatened to or have frozen our service. This is, well, okay, so I guess one of them has and one of them hasn't. This is why we are crowdfunding from you, the people, to build our own free speech friendly infrastructure. Hey guys out there who might be from the Comicsgate field, does crowdfunding always accept your applications? I mean, some crowdfunding might have a problem with that, right? You could just crowdfund it, right? Right, Kickstarter? Right? You can just crowdfund it on Kickstarter. What happens when PayPal and Stripe don't let Kickstarter process payments? All right. This is why we are crowdfunding from you, the people, to build our own free speech-friendly infrastructure. Learn how to become a Gab shareholder here at https://www.startengine.com/free speech. If you are upgrading to Gab Pro, it's important that you do so from our shop for the time being. That's the shop. You can figure that out if you're on Gab. PayPal did not terminate our service yet. They threatened to a few weeks ago over a meme. Guys, listen, this is important. They threatened to a few weeks ago over a meme from 2012 called Navy SEAL Copy Pasta. Navy SEAL Copy Pasta. They took the meme literally, like idiots who know nothing at all about basic internet culture. We refused to censor the meme because the context and intent were very clear. We've not heard back since we told them this 11 days ago, and our account is still active as of now. Stripe, our other payment processor, also the name of my cat, is demanding, quote, modification of your terms of service to indicate that adult or illegal content cannot be streamed through Gab TV or otherwise distributed through the Gab service. Can you feel the love tonight? Can you feel it? Guys, I did a video on this, and people in the comments, some people, many of you are with me, some people don't believe it. They don't believe it. They don't believe this is happening, but it is. Change your terms of service. You change your terms of service to indicate that adult or illegal content cannot be streamed through Gab TV or otherwise distributed through the Gab service. Why can't they stream adult content? Why can't they do that? I get the illegal thing. That's not the job of Stripe or PayPal. But the adult thing is certainly not the job of Stripe or PayPal. And demanding a company to change their terms of service? How many payment processors do you think there are? Do you know how to build one? Do you know how to convince MasterCard? It might. Here's the real sad reality, guys. It might not be PayPal and Stripe. It might be MasterCard. It might be Visa. It might be American Express. It might be Discover. They've done this with guns. They're doing it in New York. They're trying to bleed out companies like Remington, Winchester, companies that have been around for 100, 200 years making guns. They're trying to prevent them from getting bank loans. They're trying to prevent them from having access to payment processors. They're doing it online. It's coming to your store. It's coming to your store. You want to go, you want to have an ATM in a strip club so you can shower singles all over your favorite ladies? No. What if MasterCard doesn't want adult content? What if they don't want it? Who do you turn to? Who do you turn to? All right. Next, we've got True American Hero. How many super chats do I need to send before you cover the Enumclaw horse sex case? Always one more. I don't know, buddy. Send it to me. I've never even heard of it. I don't think. Ryan English says all your base are belong to us. Legit threat. Yeah, exactly. Resurrecting memes and then holding them as TOS violations for not your company is crazy. Wes Takahashi says, enjoyed the 3-hour roast of Wade. Drive was easy. Good. Thank you. And there will be more roasts online. Guys, I can't wait. I can't wait for developments in that case because the salt mining is going to be glorious. Okay. Let's finish this email. The implementation of reasonable controls to ensure that no adult or illegal content is being streamed through Gab TV or otherwise available on the Gab service. Both of these make no sense because we already do not allow any illegal content and take action against it. Further, any adult content must be marked as NSFW per our user guidelines, which is a similar feature that Reddit and others have for adult content on their site. Stripe has no problem working with Facebook, Pinterest, and Squarespace, all of which certainly have adult content if you go look for it. We will keep fighting to break free from Silicon Valley's dystopian control over the internet and infrastructure. With your help, we can accomplish this. Join us and invest in Gab here at startengine.com/free speech. I'm not going to tell you to invest in Gab. I have no faith in Gab any more than anyone else. Twitter started out this way too. How much of Twitter's cuckening is to blame on Twitter, and how much is it to blame on PayPal, on Stripe, on MasterCard, on payment processing, on their ability to bank? Guys, if you want to know how crucial this is, because some idiots are out there saying, look, just carry your money. Just carry cash with you. Sure. Try it. Try doing that. Try it. Ask the Colorado dispensaries, the legal weed dispensaries under Colorado state law, not under federal law, of course. Ask them how easy it was when the banks wouldn't open accounts for them because they're drug traffickers. Ask them.
You ignored my app, dude. I told you not to dox the cat.
Oh, I didn't even see you. Did you spell my name right?
I think so.
Oh, Real Lady Rackets told me not to dox the cat. And then she came and chastised me for ignoring her, which is good. All right. So this is the Gab email, guys. Navy SEAL copy pasta. Let's see how offensive this thing is. Here we go. Oh, I can't read this. So much profanity. Oh, I need a wholesome Navy SEALs copy pasta. All right. What's next? Oh, let's do Apple and Tim Cook. Or Apple and Alex Jones. Because I want you to spot the joke. I want you to spot the lie. Which communist rag do I want to read this from? Which communist rag do I want to read this from? Do I want it from Vice or Gizmodo? Which collection of scumbag pieces of trash do we want to listen to tonight? All right, let's see. What do we got? Oh, we're in boomer hour, baby. Let me try this. 1 second, guys. I'm going to pull up. No, not what I wanted. Terrible. Okay, here we go. This is real boomer hours, y'all. Don't mess with this. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, here we go. We got The Verge. We got Gizmodo. We got Vice News. We've got, look at all these bastions of truth and everything. Let's go. I read Gizmodo, so let's start with that. Look at this. Look at this unbiased headline here. Hold on. Let me just get... If I could get the giant banner ad to go away, that'd be great. Tim Cook on why Apple banned Alex Jones. He sucks. He sucks. Look at this guy. Oh, don't you want to just love him? All right, here we go. Let's go through this. Let's go through this very, very thorough article, right? Highly, highly informative. I just want to say, I just finally finished this bottle of Jury unaged rye whiskey that my good friend Keck 7 Go sent to me from Finland. Keck, that was magnificent. The first sip of it, I lied to you a little bit and said it was really good. It was really harsh. And, but I knew that was my initial reaction, and getting past it was important. And it became, honestly, it's one of my favorite beverages that I've had on the shelf. It's brutal. It's biting. It's gasoline or acetone. The rye is heavy. It's great. And that might sound like a little acrid or whatever, but trust me, like having the distinct flavors, the distinct, powerful petroleum style smell and taste is actually really pleasing after you get past that first jolt of it. So I just finished that. Thank you very much, Keck. I really do appreciate it. It was a great whiskey. And I know, yeah, he's not here, but he'll watch it at some point. Need to try Duke. It's cheap but good. I'll keep it in mind. Okay, on to Gizmodo's wise and impartial reporting. Tim Cook has a pretty simple explanation for why Apple removed most of the podcasts and an app from InfoWars founder and hate monger Alex Jones from its directories. Who does Alex Jones advocate hating other than the globalists? You got to watch out for the globalists. The globalists are coming. They're coming after you. There's nowhere to run because they're globalists. They're all over the place. Right? Who is he advocating hate for? It's not like he's advocating hate against a race or a gender or even a country. I don't think. Maybe, is there a Jones fan who can tell me who he hates more than globalists? Oh my gosh. And who cares if he hates you, you stupid globalist? Okay. Hate monger Alex Jones from its directories, setting in motion a chain of events that ended in the conspiracy theorist being fully or partially banned from virtually every major web platform. Everyone can agree Alex Jones is terrible. Ignore the fact that millions of people watch Alex Jones and paid him tons of money for his contact. Everyone, put it in brackets, who matters, can agree Alex Jones is terrible. Get bent, you disgusting pile of trash. Oh my gosh, I hate Gizmodo. I hate them. Okay. In an interview with Vice News Tonight's Elle Reeve, Cook said that getting rid of Jones's content was a matter of content curation. It was just us curating content. Just us curating it. and reassuring users that humans, listen to this, because Leor, I saw your response on Twitter. I haven't responded because I like you. And I don't want to scream at you. So I haven't responded yet, but I'm gonna. You've got to get with me on this, because this is not Section 230. I don't care what you say. Even if you're right, I don't care what you say. And the most frustrating thing is you're probably right, but I'm going to say that you should be wrong. You should be. It's not your fault, of course. You're relaying how things are. I'm talking about how we need to make them. CDA 230 is designed to prevent this. It's designed to prevent this, and it's been used to do it. And it's corrupted and disgusting, and we need to stop it. Lady Rackets, good night, sweetie. I love you. And I will not die tonight unless I have an aneurysm, which is, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to get through this article. We're going to get through this article. It's a matter of content curation and reassuring users that humans were actually paying attention to what ends up in Apple's current ecosystem. He also denied the company was responding. Listen to that statement. They're a publisher. They're publishing. They're not a distributor. They should not have any protection under 230 for this. No more protection. Burn it down. What do you want?
I got one thing for you.
Okay, hold on. Lady Rackets is coming to lower my blood pressure. Okay. Good night, baby. Good night, baby. Okay. All right, guys. Close the door so I don't wake up the kids. Okay, back to it. Section 230 was created. Should I do everything as like socialist, communist spoken word? Like everything's a Bernie Sanders rally in a coffee house? Oh my gosh. Section 230, okay, the Communications Decency Act provides an overwhelming umbrella of liability protection for online content service providers, all right? So the idea of a service provider under Section 230 is that they connect person A who is speaking to person B who is listening, all right? And they have a hands-off approach because they have millions of people coming together to communicate on their platforms, which creates billions of communications per day, probably billions of communications per hour, maybe even per minute. And there's certainly no way, even a Twitter, a YouTube, a Facebook, a Google, there's no way they can catalog and analyze effectively in 1996 using people. There's no way they can go through all of the information that's transmitting between these companies or between these people online and figure out what can't be there. So they gave them this big umbrella of liability protection because let's say you tweet out a Young Jeezy song that you don't have authorization for, and Twitter doesn't have time to find out that you did that before someone else has consumed the content through you and engaged in a copyright violation, right? Very simple. This isn't 230, we're getting there, but copyright protection, safe harbors are the same concept as 230. So now change it from a Young Jeezy song to a piece of child erotica, right? That is of questionable legality, we'll say. So now someone transmits child pornography over Facebook's messenger service. Facebook has millions and millions of users, hundreds of millions of users with hundreds of billions of private chats going between these users, maybe in the trillions with private groups. There's no way they can monitor all of it effectively. So someone transmits child porn and it gets downloaded and consumed before they can catch it. Facebook shouldn't be liable for that. Ever, 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 ever. It's not their speech. Now, historically, publishers have had strict liability on things like child pornography, defamation. Why? Why do you think they've had it? Because a publisher is reviewing and curating content by human effort. There's a person there who's looking over all the submissions to the New York Times. And they say, this story's bad, this story's bad, this story's bad. And then they say, if we print this, it's got a bunch of lies about someone and we might be liable. If we print this giant nude of an 8-year-old, we're liable for distributing child porn, right? Pretty simple. They removed the liability because humans couldn't do it. Tim Cook just said there's humans curating Apple. Get rid of their protection. Get it out. It's got to go. It's got to go if you want to speak online in the next 2 decades. It's going away. I promise you. If you don't put your preferred pronouns in your profile, if you don't dye your hair blue and throw yourself on Bernie Sanders' giant throbbing sword, you're not going to speak in 2 decades. There's no way, because all these private businesses will privately decide magically at the same time to stop it. So you've got to get yourself out there and understand that we've got to stop shielding them. These are not private entities. They're private public partnerships. They have been for at least a decade, and they're abusing it. They're protecting them. You can't sue Facebook right now if someone mails Mark Zuckerberg a post that says, here's a bunch of lies about so-and-so that I'm going to publish on this date, and then they publish them and ruin your life. And Mark Zuckerberg knew personally that this was going to happen, and they published them. You can't sue Facebook even though he allowed it. Okay? Think about that. You do that to the New York Times, they're shut down. You do it to the LA Times, they're shut down. You do it to Facebook, Facebook says, government backs us up. It's wrong. It's got to go. It's got to go. Burn it to the ground now, because you won't be able to later. Okay? I'm going to get through this article. All right. Here we go. Humans were actually paying attention to what ends up in Apple's content ecosystem. He also denied the company was responding to any kind of political pressure. Political doesn't always mean from government. Or that he had ever coordinated his response with executives from other tech companies. Vice and Gizmodo should die in the holy fires of Deus Vult. Guys, they've got to go too. Get them all out. Get them all out. Back to Commie-stan, Vice. Back to Commie-stan, Gizmodo. Because this is the same garbage line that all of these people have been using for the past 40 years to avoid their monopoly charges. Southwestern Bell Telephone Company, y'all. It's one of the major civil procedure cases because even though everyone on earth knew that they were colluding with other companies, guys, how many telephone services do you have available as hard landlines? How many cable companies come to your house? But none of them talk about it, right? Because they said so. Just like Apple. Listen to this line. He denied that he had ever coordinated his response with executives from other tech companies. 5 platforms within 2 hours. But they didn't talk about it. They don't talk about it. But they act in collusion anyway. How does it happen? No one can seem to figure it out. They did it before email, guys. They did it when no one could talk without using a telephone. They keep doing it. They're going to keep doing it. It's got to go. Gizmodo should be drug into the street and quartered for this, because they need to ask the follow-up question, or I guess Vice, because Gizmodo just stole Vice's article and reprinted it anyway. They need to be stopped because they should be the guys following up. This is Vice News. Vice, what? Didn't they go into like ISIS-controlled territory and do on-the-ground reporting? Vice News should be asking the follow-up question. Yeah, isn't that what all of you always say? How about that 2-hour window? Pure coincidence? What happened, Cook? What happened? Landon Mackin-James says, my autism knows no limits. Nick isn't a cuck. Thanks, buddy. I am not. I am absolutely not and never will be. All right. What do we got next? Yeah, we just didn't coordinate it. It just happened. It just happened. Yeah, Carrie Dalton. Where is the EFF? Where are they? Where are they? Where's the ACLU? Where are the people protecting speech? It's gotta go. And Fred Leggett, yes, authoritarianism needs to be outlawed. Hilarious, yes. And this is the riddle, guys. Where does it happen? It happens when we're all screaming. That's when it happens. That's how it happens. It happens when our dollars matter. It happens. There's the political level. We need to remove government protection. Government is intervening, okay? Like, we don't want government intervening in private companies. Government is intervening in private companies. They are. They are right now, and they're doing it for the monetary benefit of the private companies and not for you and not for me. So we got to get over this. We got to get away from these like libertarian contrarian arguments. I'm a guy who makes them. I've been making them for 3 decades now. Two, I guess, effectively. 3, I would have been pretty young. 2 decades now. I've been on the freedom side. I still am. But right now we have government interference now. And we've got to start advocating for it to go. Not to morph, not to change, not to be different. It's got to go. If it goes, they're shut down tomorrow. Facebook and Twitter get shut down tomorrow without this protection. It's got to go, and we've got to rebuild the system. And I don't mean like the dystopian, it's got to go and rebuild the system. We put a sunset on it. We peacefully sunset these protections, and they have to change. They have to. That's how it always happens. The libertarian argument, it always assumes next day action. You can't have heroin legal tomorrow. It's like a 20-year plan. You got to get society to having heroin legal before it can be legal. You can't shut down immunity under 230 and safe harbor under copyright. You can't shut it down tomorrow. It's a decade-long plan, but it's got to start. And if we're too dumbly contrarian and fighting amongst ourselves about just how much freedom we need, it will never start, and we lose. And we've been losing for decades. We've got to stop. We've got to stop. Landon Mackin-James says, if you ever become a cuck, I'll sue you, Nick. I'm your personal anime recommender, and you can't betray me. No, I can't. I can't betray you, and I won't. I will not. Next. Okay. What users want from us and what we've always provided them is a curated platform. Is that what you users want? You Apple users out there, is that what you want? You want Apple deciding your content. That's what the CEO says. That you guys want them to decide what can be on their precious platform. Your wishes, who cares? Who cares? Okay. Chris Primer says, when the economy crashes, they will make their move. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if we mean that in the same way, but I think we do. And they absolutely will. More like Tim Cook, am I right? I don't know. Does he enjoy watching men bang his husband? Is he married? I don't know if Tim Cook is actually married. And Tim Cook, got no sympathy for you. None. I don't have sympathy for the years you lived in fear. I don't, because you're doing it to the next generation of people. Because you disagree with them politically. You giant pile of trash. Guys, I'm the most openly pro-billionaire person I've ever met. I want more billionaires. I want people to wield vastly unequal amounts of economic power. I do. I want the marketplace of ideas. I want it. I don't want Tim Cook to cement himself as the only billionaire through controlling the content. All right. What we've always provided them is a curated platform. We think that what the user wants is someone that does review these apps, someone that does review the podcasts, someone that on like Apple News, where a human is selecting the top stories, and that's what we do. Is that what you want? Is it, Apple users? Is it? You want someone to review the apps and the podcasts and tell them what they think you'll want? Because I tell you, I don't want that. I don't. I moved away from all of that as far away as I can. All of my content is consumed, or all of the content that I consume is done online, almost entirely through YouTube, which does curate content to some extent, but it's less. It's less. I can't stand it. Cable companies, daytime TV, that's what Apple wants to do to your podcast list. How much do you guys want to listen to Serial on NPR? Don't get me wrong, I liked season 1. What if they thought season 1 was bad? Because it involved the murder of a young girl by a man. And if a man murders a young girl, he's guilty. No trial. Right? We got to be sure he's innocent. And Adnan Syed, last I checked, is still in prison and still guilty. So maybe they got to get rid of Serial season 1. You're stuck with the defense of Bo Bergdahl for season 2. How about that snore fest? I'm sure Apple thinks you want NPR's podcasts. I can guarantee NPR's podcasts are never curated away from Apple's products for you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hope you didn't want Alex Jones, though. And that's what we do. That's what they do. Government, pay attention. They're flaunting your laws right in front of you. Right in front of you. Here, listen to this nugget of truth. They want the lies of Alex Jones off the internet? How about Tim, I'm a giant gay and can't realize that the giant gays couldn't talk when I was growing up, and now I'm trying to do that to the new gays. How about Tim Cook, the giant bigot? Tim Cook, the bigot liar. Here it comes. We don't take a political stand, Cook continued. We don't take a political stand. Not at Apple. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We censor every Alex Jones. Baron Nathan Dean. Plus, every time YouTube does more to curate content, it makes it massively worse and harder to find what I want. Stop curating everything. Ah! Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Stop it. Stop it. Hulu is trash now. I don't know if you guys have seen Hulu lately, but like to try and just find something that you know, outside of your bubble on Hulu is really flipping difficult in the UI. Same with Netflix. Netflix used to just have a giant list that you could scroll through. It's like action movies. just this huge grid of action movies. Now it's like the action movies they think you want to watch first. And then somehow you can maybe get to something else. Or you can specifically search for something. Oh my gosh. Okay, Super Iron Bob says, Rekieta Law, I am the new gay, 2018. Yes. Yes. We're all gay now. We're all gay together. We all got to come out as the new gays or something. I don't know. What do we do? How do we convince the gay on top that we mundane mats on the bottom need to have free speech? And they can't just take it away because they think we don't want it. We do. We do. We're tired of being mundane Matt. We want to be Tim Cook. We want to be able to say whatever we want because we own the platform. We're tired of being the bottoms of the world. Like mundane Matt. In before mundane Matt wakes up buried under a pile of his own boulders. Ugh. So much a bottom he's underground. All right. We don't take a political stand, Cook continued. We're not leaning one way or the other. No, not at all. How many lefty rags did you delete today, Tim Cook? They're lying straight to our faces. It's one of the biggest companies. If it's not the biggest company in the world, it's like number 2. And they just Vice News, Gizmodo. Oh, Tim Cook. Oh, we love it. Just lie more. Lie on my face. Oh my gosh, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. You can tell that from the stuff on the App Store and in podcasts. We'll see how long I remain on iTunes after this. You'll see everything from very conservative to very liberal. Hey guys, two Nazi compadres out there. I use Nazi in the most loving way. Are you conservative? To the Trump supporters out there, the real ones, the real Trump supporters, in from the start, down with the nationalism and the protectionism, and I'm not saying that in any pejorative way. I'm saying it in a descriptive way. Like, full on, get rid of NAFTA, trade war with China, build the wall, stop immigration. Those Trump supporters, are you conservative? Are you liberal? Are you in there? Or are you over here? I'm not in here anymore. I'm somewhere over here. I'm not super on the nationalist side. I get it. I get it, guys. And I'm not opposed to you. It's just not where I am, and that's fine. Political diversity is important. But we've got all the way from mediocre to lukewarm. And you can do whatever you want between mediocre and lukewarm. Guys, it's a salsa selection at Taco Bell over at Apple. You've got all the way from the not hot to the not hot. Gosh, this is so... All right. From the very conservative to the very liberal. All the way from Sean Hannity to Alan Combs. I think Combs died, though. So maybe that... No, he guests now on, AM Coast to Coast with George Norrie. Good. We need more of these political figures to peacefully die in their sleep or whatever. Politely die of old age and natural causes. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. People who are trying to fix this stupid world. Get out of the way. Okay. And that's the way I think it should be. Right down the safe aisle of the church. Right down the middle. Just right down the little walkway where the the now really fat brides and groomsmaids are walking around with their giant cuck groomsmen and grooms to be, who are all looking at all the other people, trying to figure out, since they read that it's good on Vice News to be in a polyamorous furry relationship. Like, that's all good now. And so they literally are walking down the aisle with no idea what, like, regular sexual interaction between a husband and wife looks like. That's the new thing, because that's where Apple thinks it should be. Because remember, traditional marriage is about to be beyond very conservative. All this stuff is gonna go, because those goalposts are being loaded up in a U-Haul and driven all the way to Jersey to be thrown into the ocean. Pressed on the exact moment he decided Jones should go, Cook replied, I don't really get into a singular kind of event. Guys, Tim flipping Cook is admitting to, as the CEO of Apple, personally deciding that Alex Jones needs to go. This is not Section 230 of the CDA. This is the guy up on the top deciding some other person can't be on the platform as a human and with full knowledge of the content that they're producing. Make no mistake. Next, let's move on. I don't really get into a singular kind of event, but I think there's enough there that reasonable people could agree that if you're going to curate, that should be off. 3 problems with that, Tim Cook. Reasonable people are not gay Silicon Valley billionaires at the top of the biggest company in the world. That's a highly specific person. That's just you. That's just you. You're not a reasonable person. You have no idea what it's like to live in reasonable people America. And that's good. That's good for you. I am proud of how far you are away from normal people. I am pro ivory tower when it's earned. And Tim Cook has ridden the train straight to the top of one of the biggest companies in the history of man, and I do nothing but applaud that. Good job. But don't tell me how a reasonable person acts, you giant pile of trash. You don't know. You don't know. You're a billionaire on top of the earth. And even if you're not on top of the earth, you live in Silicon Valley, where life isn't real. It's not real. It's all pretend there. You literally create virtual worlds for people to not live real life. I love them. I love these virtual worlds. I spend hours on them every single day. But don't tell me what a reasonable person thinks, because you're not in a factory, Tim. You waged that out to slaves in China. Remember? Remember Foxconn when they were all jumping out of the windows and you guys just put nets in to catch them so they could be ushered back up to their apartment to wake up tomorrow and build another iPhone? Remember when you were told that the way they mine the stupid mineral in your phone that makes it buzz really loud, that's a specific mineral. It's only found in like 4 countries in Africa. And they don't have functional governments. You know what they have? They have a bunch of warlords like General Butt Naked, the real guy who walk around and chop the arms off of people to make them compliant and then have them use their nubs to dig out that mineral so that my phone buzzes, so when I'm in your stupid Apple corporate meeting, I don't bother the guy next to me when my kid is screaming and I have to pick him up from daycare. That's slavery and murder because of that for you, you gay billionaire on top of the earth. Can we stop pretending that you're normal? You're not. You You don't know what reasonable people are. You're so disgusting. You're so horrible. I don't mind. I love buying products made by slaves. I'm wearing Nike shoes. I'm fine with it. But stop pretending that you're good. You're the worst person on earth, maybe. You're the worst. And you think a fat idiot in Austin is the worst guy alive because he says there's gay frogs from phosphorus and he ripped his shirt off and made fun of Hillary Clinton. Oh my God! You're you're Thomas Jefferson, except now. You enslaved more black and Chinese people than the entire history of the United States. All to make phones for soccer moms, you scumbag. Eat a bullet train in Japan. Just stand on the track and wait for it to blast you into oblivion, and the world will be a better place. Oh my God, I'm tired of it. Next on Rekieta Law. That should be off. That should be off. Child soldiers are cool with Apple. Remember that. Guys, if I may take a moment. In law school, you're required to do, at least in my law school, you're required to go to various extracurricular activities. You're required to. You have to go. The first one I attended was an event from World Without Genocide. Okay? World Without Genocide's an organization run by law students and professors and then other concerned people. And they hosted the event on my school's campus. I live in Minnesota. Minnesota has a large Somali population due to the refugee crisis of the 90s and the ongoing refugee crisis that's been happening in Somalia since the 90s because they can't have a functional government. You may have heard of a movie called Black Hawk Down. Black Hawk Down, okay, happened right after the collapse of the 1 year functional Somali government. And that's when warlords threatened the Somali president and his wife and kids, and were trying to kill them. And those guys, the president, the wife, and the kids, all ended up in Minnesota. They've been living here for a long time. And the former president of Somalia, right before the events of Black Hawk Down, he spoke at this event, and it was on Ramadan. It was really cool. If you don't know me, I am I don't know how to describe it. I will give anybody a chance. I don't care about your political ideology. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about your country of origin. I don't care about your race. I don't care about anything about you. I'll give you a chance and I'll listen to you. I will listen to a Nazi. I will listen to an ISIS terrorist. I will listen to everybody. You show me who you are, not whatever label I'm going to assume. I don't do that. Labels are convenient, but I want to meet you. So I listened to the president of Somalia talk, and very candidly and frankly about the problems with Somalia. Great presentation. And following it, Ramadan ended in the middle of his speech, and I got to stand up and have a bunch of Somali food with a bunch of Muslim Somalis. Great food, good company, really interesting conversations, okay? That's the preface. One of the other events I had to do was also put on by World Without Genocide. And we screened the movie Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio, okay? And then if you haven't seen Blood Diamond, it's a pretty good movie. And it's about the reality of the diamond trade, which diamonds are a fake monopoly where semi-precious stones are given inflated values over precious stones because De Beers, literally because one company in England, sounds kind of like Apple, decided that they wanted their product that they owned a bunch of the mines for to be an exclusive product. So they artificially stem the tide of diamonds. But here's the thing. Here's what Blood Diamond's about. Blood Diamond, the diamond trade is run on slave labor mining the diamonds. It is. There's no way around it, and we're all fine with it. I bought my wife a diamond ring when we got married. I bought her diamonds since then, and I'd buy her a diamond ring tomorrow. No problem buying diamond rings. I don't think everybody endorses slavery, but that's the reality of the situation. After that, after this movie, De Beers is Irish, sure. And yes, Zephael, my wife does have a diamond ring. Like I said, I just explained that. Anyways, after this, they talked about the different minerals in our phones that are used for specific purposes that are extremely rare and hard to find and are all mined with knowing slave labor from the companies. And it gave each of the companies a rating, right? Green for good on slave labor, yellow for bad, or for like not good enough, and red for terrible. Apple, Google, Microsoft, all of them at best are yellow. All of them. And they know it. They know it. Most of the people out there buying the products don't. Some people out there buying the products do and are just okay with it because that's how capitalism works and it kind of sucks. But we've got these various products. Tim Cook knows. Tim Cook knows about it. He's the guy who sells you the phone. He's the guy who marks the phone price up. Because trust me, not a single Apple product is priced appropriately. Not one. And Tim Cook does it. I'm tired of these people. These are your moral police. These are your moral police. And guys, I own diamond rings. Like I said, for my wife and I, we have diamond rings. I don't apologize for any of that. Not for a moment. But look what I wear these days. I wear a silicone ring. I'm guessing it was cheap. I'm guessing it was made by slave labor in Malaysia or something. There's no escaping it. Except for guys like Tim Cook, who can actually make the decisions to escape it. I can't force Apple to not use slave Africans. I can't do it. Neither can you. But you know who can? Tim Cook. You know who doesn't? Tim Cook. Slave owner Tim Cook. We have an app called Safari. Cook added, Safari is the app for you if you want to look at anything that's on the free and open internet that's not on our store, on our app store. Yeah, sure. Sure, Tim. Sure, Tim. Do all the plugins for Alex Jones's show work on Safari mobile? Do they? I don't know. Don't subscribe to Alex Jones. Don't really like him. Don't care. He's funny enough. I hear clips of him and laugh. Don't care. Don't want to hear him more than I want to hear anybody else. Is Safari a slavery reference? Oh! Brave browser, John Russell. Yeah, Brave's what I'm using right. Brave is what you're looking at over here. This is being viewed on a Brave browser. I'm liking Brave more and more. Anyway, don't you think that Tim Cook owning slaves makes him a racist? Heck yes. Tim Cook is... Guys, I can't stress it enough. The CEOs of Apple and Google are the biggest slave owners in the history of man. Samsung too, but they're in Korea. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, here we go. Cook, the CEO of a company valued at over $1 trillion, has a habit of denying that Apple plays politics. Here's the one credit. One credit I'll give Gizmodo. And despite mountains of evidence to the contrary, that he doesn't really either. So at least they kind of call him out for his obvious partisanship in this article. It is fair to say that the company's decision to deplatform Jones was inherently both a business decision and a political statement. How's it a business decision? I was busy screaming. Get out of here. I will. Lady Rackets is driving me nuts. How is it a business decision, Tim Cook? Is Apple losing money on the InfoWars app? Is that really happening? Not a chance. Not a chance. Alex Brown. Remember, children worked in workshops and other jobs, including coal mines, till the early 20th century, and it was only more recently abolished in the Western world. Yeah, absolutely. 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 I do remember. I also remember that the person with the most power to end modern slavery on Earth, guys, the person who has more power to end slavery than Tim Cook? Who does? Trump can't do it. The CEOs of Apple, Nike, Google, Microsoft, Intel, maybe not Intel so much, I don't know. Qualcomm, any of the Asian-made processors. Those guys have more power to end slavery than anyone else on the planet. Bet they're critical of Thomas Jefferson for owning slaves. Mark Yade. Okay, sorry. Was inherently both a business decision and a political statement. Of course, written by Gizmodo, I'm sure they don't know what a business decision is. But it's obviously a political statement. Allowing Apple to position itself as taking a stance at the same time other companies like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter were all seemingly worried about potential consequences and treading on eggshells on anything InfoWars related. What consequences? You have blanket immunity that you wave around in our face like Kavanaugh at a college party for everything that Alex Jones publishes. You have immunity from everything he publishes. And you're trying to protect yourself from what? From what? At the same time, and I can't express enough how same time it was that Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Apple acted on Alex Jones. Random McRanderson, thank you. Processor manufacturing is a highly skilled and automated process that doesn't involve slaves. You're right, buddy. Because Intel still makes their processors here in the U.S., right? What about like Qualcomm and AMD? Are they U.S. based? Because I do remember that, and if they're not at issue, then I certainly don't want to impugn them. Right, they use like a prism that breaks a laser down into like nanometer things, and it burns it on the wafer, right? Like it's really cool. Why am I talking about this? I don't know anything about this. Anyway. Alan Grant says, would Marsh v. Alabama be relevant to internet freedom of speech? By the way, keep up the good work. Yes. Now, backstory on Marsh versus Alabama. I was brought to the attention of Marsh versus Alabama by Roseanne Barr, who was incorrectly stated Marsh versus Alabama was still good law. Marsh versus Alabama has been overturned. Guess what Cuckastani state overturned Marsh versus Alabama? This one, to protect our stupid Mall of America that's owned by Iranians in Canada. Does it get better? than Iranians in Canada owning the Mall of America and screwing us all on corporate ability to control speech on public-private partnership property? Isn't it great? Minnesota, thank you. You've done us all a great service, helping the Iranian Canadians reap billions of dollars and screwing us out of free speech on Twitter. Literally, it was Minnesota. You're welcome. But we're going to talk about Marsh versus Alabama. We're going to talk because it is no longer good law. It has been effectively overturned, although not directly. We need Congress to resurrect the principles of Marsh versus Alabama and apply them to the modern age because they're still relevant. They're really relevant today. They're really relevant. Ask Alex Jones how relevant it is, but you better call him on your rotary phone, and you better hope the switchboard operator is there and not jerking it to Penthouse Mag in the back, because you need to be connected by hard line to talk to that man who doesn't exist anymore. All right, Marsh versus Alabama is coming. It is coming. We're going to talk about Marsh versus Alabama very soon because it matters a whole lot. Next. But given that all of those companies took Apple's move as an opportunity to finally just rip off the Band-Aid, and only consequences for Jones ensued, of course they're all protected by the government. You want a deep state conspiracy? Deep state protects everybody who shut me down. Every single one of them. All in bed together with George Soros, having an 80-year-old flappy-skinned orgy. It's disgusting. Horrifying. It is probably also fair to say that fear of some kind of backlash was a little exaggerated. Elsewhere. In the interview, Cook criticized other tech companies for collecting large amounts of user data under misleading pretenses. Ooh, you lying sack of garbage. You lying heap of garbage. Listen to this guy acting like Apple isn't doing this constantly. Oh my gosh, the CEO called for regulation. Did he? Did the CEO of Apple call for regulation? Did the most powerful slave owner, white male slave owner in all of history, did the richest white male slave owner in all of history call for regulation? Why would he do that? Apple's innocent. You need to regulate all these other guys, right? Just like every time. Because regulation favors the big swinging Tim Cook. Every time. It always favors them. Guys, how you gonna build a new one? How you gonna build a new internet when Tim Cook swings his giant gay top around, right? How are you gonna do it when white male slave owner Tim Cook swings in on you and has all of Congress, and we know how many of them are involved in gay affairs, am I right? Am I right, Republicans? Right? It's you guys in the bathroom with the toilet paper roll and the shoe slide under the stall, right? It's you guys. It's all of you. It's all of you in bed with this disgusting white male slave owner. And you Democrats out there, it's you too. Because you know who Hillary Clinton loves more than Tim Cook? Me either. Both of them love the slaves. They love it. They love it, love it, love it. Make no mistake. These guys all love white slave owners like Tim Cook. And if they come in and regulate your ability to speak and build a new platform and make it cost prohibitive, how you gonna do it? How you gonna do it? How are you gonna enact your libertarian utopia when you can't even get a credit card payment done? Something that Kerpal at any gas station / smoke shop in the lower 48 can accomplish with ease, you won't be able to do with 3 PhDs if they think you listened to Alex Jones when you were younger. Here it comes. And remember who's on top. Mundane Matt's the perpetual bottom. And Tim Cook is Fantasy Chad on top, banging his way down to the slaves. Told you guys. All right, called for regulation, adding the narrative that some companies will try to get you to believe is, I've got to take all of your data to make my service better. We've got to curate Alex Jones off the internet to make our service better. Because you like 5 million people who listen to his show every day, you don't want it. We're going to curate it and help you. Go listen to NPR. Hi, welcome to Serial on NPR. Good Lord. Well, don't believe that. Whoever's telling you that, it's a bunch of bunk. It's a bunch of bunk. Listen to the hip language. Note that a recent congressional hearing featuring executives from 6 tech giants, including Apple, none were willing to go so far as to call for financial penalties for sweeping overall like the EU's General Data Protection Regulation. Good that they don't, but Tim Cook, you're a lying sack of trash. Cook also defended Apple against accusations that its business in China could lead to it becoming de facto partner to state censors. How would that happen? How would doing business in China lead to a de facto partnership with a bunch of Maoists? I don't know. How do you think they let you do business there, Tim Cook? You're in bed with commies and slave owners. Now, not only are you the largest slave owner, white male slave owner in the history of mankind. Not only that, but you're also supporting the regime who happily starves its people to death and prevents the birth of children against the will of the citizenry. And if you don't think China's still committing human rights abuses, I got news. In China, defended against accusations that its business in China could lead to it becoming a de facto partner for state censors, denying that government officials could more easily access user data stored in country, or that its encryption standards are any different there. Oh, I'm sure China's just fine. China censors Google results, but Apple's just fine. And they don't have a backdoor to Apple's encryption. Neither does the US government, and Apple wants you to know that. Remember, in 2014 after San Bernardino, Apple stood up for you and they protected the privacy of the terrorist's phone. Yeah, they protected the privacy of the terrorist's phone because they knew if we all figured out that the NSA already had that backdoor to the encryption, and just wanted permission to use it, that there might be revolution in the streets in the next decade if they did that. 1776 is coming for you! But their encryption in China is just the same. That's not a good statement. That simply means that the state has the keys to the back door. And if we know anything, it's that Tim Cook is happy to have the keys to the back door, banging his way down to Mundane Matt, grabbing every African child slave on the way. Every one of them. Can I sing at your funeral, Cook? I hope it's a long time away. I really do. I wish you a long billionaire life. I love billionaires with a fiery passion. Just hate when they lie. Just hate when they lie. I hate when they lie to my face. I hate when these cuck journalists don't call them out. Because what happens? How does Vice call them out? Alex Jones called out Apple and gets thrown off the earth. How does Vice call him out? Tim Cook's gonna call Elon Musk, put Alex Jones in the next Tesla to circle the earth. Right? Along with all the dead prostitutes and strippers that he shoved in the trunk of the Tesla, Alex Jones is gonna be in the driver's seat, flying around, listening to show tunes on his Sirius satellite radio at the order of Tim Cook. How on earth is Vice News and Gizmodo even supposed to criticize him? They suck for not doing it more, but how can we expect them to when the answer is they're deplatformed from existence? Gizmodo can just go to print, right? You can find enough LGBT curious journalistic game readers to buy the Gizmodo print edition, right? You can mail it all to the same uptown Minneapolis high-rise, I'm sure. Good Lord. How far in are we? We're an hour and a half. Whoo. All right. All right. How we doing? How we doing, guys? I'm doing pretty well. I hope Lady Rackets is still watching, shaking her head in shame. Oh my gosh. Let me find, if you can bear with me a moment, guys. I'm going to try and find this Alex Jones case. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat while I look here. Fill the dead air for me. I'm sorry for being unprofessional. I really am. I meant to have this pulled up, but I just didn't. I just didn't have time to get it done between. So if you guys like. Are you kidding me? Guys, did you know that chick from Florida, what's her name? David Hogg. David Hogg sued Alex Jones. Did anybody else know this? You're still waiting for me to acknowledge your last comment. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me see. Oh. Oh. Sweetie, you can't hold me to buying you a diamond wedding or a diamond ring tomorrow. You can't do that because I was clearly drinking, and that is non-binding promise. This is a non-binding promise. The Gun Collective likes to talk about David Hogg. I bet there are a lot of inmates who like to talk about David Hogg. Ooh, look at those cheekbones. Mmm. Daisy Hogg's a great meme. Great meme. All right. Hold on, I'm looking at this David Hogg thing. Oh my. Oh wait, that's not David Hogg, that's Michael Hogg. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making fun of David Hogg. Who's Michael Hogg? What is this even about? Personal injury product liability. Uh-oh. Something they bought on InfoWars killed him. Demand is $1 million. Oh no. Oh no. What is this? I'm not actually sad about David Hogg. What is happening? There's not even a complaint in this case. Mandatory initial discovery pilot? Oh my gosh. Hold on, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I can talk about this. This might be vacated. It looks like they're having problems doing the service. Sorry to waste your time, folks. Okay. I gotta try and find this a different way. I'm sorry. I guess maybe I just look for PayPal. Maybe that's easier. I couldn't find anything under InfoWars. Wow, PayPal's been sued a lot. Let me refine this. Party role. Defendant. Okay, it's free speech systems. Good reporting, idiots. All right, free speech systems versus Where's the case? Has it not been filed yet? All right, here we go.
A good day is when you can be independent, when you can spend time with your friends. A good day supports you feeling your best and relaxing with someone special. A good day is where you get to move and where your daily health needs are met. This is Daybreak, the area's only program providing
Randazza
healthcare
Legal
right
Group is
alongside
really,
social
really
activities that
familiar.
offer a sense of fulfillment and community.
Where did I see
Daybreak,
that?
an adult day wellness program provided by Bethesda.
Are they on the James Damore case?
This is CNET, and here are the stories that matter right now. Amazon
Yeah, I
on
know,
Tuesday said it will raise its minimum wage to $15
Infowars
an hour
parent
in the
company isn't
US,
exactly
in response to
free
mounting
speech
pressure
systems, I
over
don't
its
think,
wages
because they
and its
have
treatment of
Infowars
warehouse workers.
LLC,
The new wage
they
will
have
go
Free
into
Speech
effect on
Systems
November 1st
LLC,
and apply to
and
all
they
full-time,
all
part-time,
operate
and
like
seasonal
different
and
parts of
temporary
different
employees.
businesses. All right.
Microsoft held an
Is there an
event in New
ad
York to
playing on this?
reveal a
Oh
number-
dear God. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I can't hear the ads. I can't hear that. So if you guys hear like weird audio or something that's an ad, let me know. I can't always see that stuff. I'm not playing autoplay ads. That's the opposite. All right, guys, we got a 15-page complaint. Let's go through this and figure it out. All right. And then we'll call it a stream. We'll call it a stream. Some guy was rambling about slaves. That's weird. Hey, you'll know they're not collecting your data when you have ads on Facebook tomorrow to buy black people. No, I do have Brave, but I was browsing in regular Chrome for this one. I was in a different window. He defended Brian Zeiger. He defended a different, he was involved in a lawsuit I covered. I don't know if it was Poppy, or it might have been, one of the other InfoWars things. I don't know. Or it might have been someone in the Dick versus Maddox lawsuit, like Patreon. I don't know. Who cares? Who cares? Let's get moving. Let's get moving. All right, so the complaint is for violation of UNRU Civil Rights Act, unlawful, unfair, and fraudulent business practices under California Business and Professions Code 17200. It's Google. It's Google. They're opposed to James Damore. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Maybe they're for James Damore. No, they got to be opposed. Or maybe, I don't know. I got to stop talking about it. Breach of the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. Demand for a jury trial. I didn't cover the purple mattress case. Plaintiff, Free Speech Systems, LLC, hereby files its complaint against defendant PayPal Incorporated for violation of the UNRRA Civil Rights Act, California Civil Code 51, unlawful, unfair, and fraudulent business practices under California Business and Professional Code 17200, and breach of the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. Introduction. Plaintiff FSS owns and operates the news websites at the URLs Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Collectively, the news site. Should I read this as Paul Joseph Watson? That guy's got the most annoying voice on the planet. The views and opinions expressed on articles and audiovisual programming hosted on these news sites, including those expressed by its founder, Alex Jones, are often controversial. Plaintiff FSS also owns and operates... Wait, if it were Kavanaugh's, but he'd be Plaintiff FSS also owns and operates the website InfoWarsStore.com, the store site which offers several products for sale, including inter alia, among other things, dietary and nutritional supplements, and literature written by and for a politically conservative audience. The news sites provide link to the store site, but plaintiff does not actually sell anything on the news sites. I mean, except for natural male enhancement. And also an expanded mind. The store site created the first of the PayPal accounts in or about 2000. In or about 2007, FSS assumed ownership and operated the store site and PayPal accounts. Plaintiff uses the payment processing service PayPal to process payments by customers purchasing products on the store site and has done so without incident for 18 years. It is at this point well known that large tech companies located primarily in Silicon Valley are discriminating against politically conservative entities and individuals. I mean, it's known to everybody except people in Silicon Valley. Yeah. Oh, man. Including banning them from social media platforms such as Twitter, based solely on their political and ideological viewpoints. Plaintiff has been the victim of this recently, and as it has been banned from various online platforms based solely on the viewpoints expressed on plaintiff's programming. Guys, viewpoint discrimination is absurdly frowned upon in the Constitution, in free speech. If it were government doing it, it would put it straight to the highest possible bar. Straight to the highest possible bar for viewpoint discrimination. All right. It banned plaintiff from its payment processing platform for no reason other than disagreement with the messages plaintiff conveys. PayPal engaged in this viewpoint-based censorship, despite stating that in determining whether a user violated its acceptable use policy, it would only consider conduct actually involving the use of PayPal. PayPal's decision to kick plaintiff off its platform had nothing to do with such activities. PayPal banning plaintiff is a bridge too far and, if allowed, sets a dangerous precedent for any person or entity with controversial views. No, Alex! No, Randazza! Bad dummy! Bad dummy! Roll up a newspaper, a digital one, and hit yourself to death with the screen. Rewrite it. Sets a dangerous precedent for any person or entity with views. Not constitutional view or controversial views. Any views. It's controversial today. It's not controversial tomorrow. And what isn't controversial today is controversial tomorrow. All right. Acceptable use policies of tech companies, including PayPal's policies, are notoriously broad and subjective, meaning that essentially any expression aside from the most boring and banal interpretation of events potentially violates them. Meanwhile, subject to change whims of would-be censors change from day to day, time to time, and no user of this ubiquitous banking service can predict who will be next. PayPal discriminated against plaintiff based on its political viewpoints and politically conservative affiliation, thus violating the California UNRRA Civil Rights Act. Oh, excuse me. Here's the important thing, guys. California is one of the only states that protects political affiliation or political opinions through its civil rights code. And it's thank you to the gays. All the gays except Tim Cook, thank you for that. Thank you to the gays for protecting political ideology in California, but not Tim Cook. Your gay thanks has been revoked, sir. Sir. PayPal is engaged in unfair business practices by enforcing its contractual terms in an unconscionable manner. Unconscionability is a way to have unlawful, unconscionable contractual terms thrown out. Namely, arbitrarily banning plaintiff from its platform for off-platform speech despite never claiming it might ban users for off-platform activity. In doing so, it also violated the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing with plaintiff. Plaintiff seeks a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction because plaintiff is suffering irreparable harm in the form of lost goodwill as a result of PayPal's actions and will continue to suffer this harm absent injunctive relief. Injunctive relief must issue in order to preserve the status quo. Mind you, listen to what is going to happen here. Because Alex Jones is going to lose, guys. He's going to lose, and he's not going to get his injunctive relief for sure. These giant vaginas in the Ninth Circuit will injunct a lawful order of a president on the entire nation, but they won't force PayPal to resume allowing Alex Jones to collect money through their service through the duration of the lawsuit. They will block a lawful presidential order for 2 years, knowing they'll lose, but I guarantee you they won't force PayPal to maintain service with Alex Jones through the duration of the lawsuit. All right. Plaintiff Free Speech System is a limited liability company organized under the laws of the state of Texas and a citizen thereof with a principal place of business in Austin, Texas. Plaintiff Free Speech Systems owns and operates the website InfoWars. InfoWars is a news and reporting political commentary website that expresses views of hosts and guests that are politically conservative and often controversial. Plaintiff FSS owns and operates the website InfoWarsStore.com, which offers several products for sale, including dietary and nutritional supplements and literature created by and for politically conservative audiences. Defendant PayPal Incorporated is a corporation organized under the laws of the state of Delaware with its principal place of business in San Jose in the state of California, and is a citizen thereof. Guys, I gotta stop for a second. I gotta stop. Here's why. When you're in law school, a bunch of communists try and teach you how law works, right? You better insulate your mind against it. You better insulate your mind because 99% of the people you encounter in law school would literally put people in camps if it made the state more powerful. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. They would lock you up in a heartbeat or just kill you for their political ends. Unironically, unapologetically. Professors down to students hate freedom, largely. And they look like it, right? They look like they've been shoving their fat gullets with snack cakes for their entire flipping life. One of my professors, my civil procedure professor, I will never forget this day. Would never forget this day. Tried to tell our class that there are less corporations now than there were in 1850, for example. All the way to like 1940. That there are less corporations now than the early 1900s. That's what this brilliant legal scholar had to offer. And the reason they were making that point is they were trying to say that corporations control your stuff, man. Corporations control your stuff. Mind you, a corporation had to manufacture her minutely diabetes treatments because she was a giant pile of lazy, okay? But corporations control your stuff, man. Corporations are bad. These commies all love suckling at the teats of organizations when they fit their political ends, when they match their political ideologies. People like Vice and Gizmodo rail against corporate structures, but not Apple. Why not Apple? The biggest one. And they just sit there sucking away. They love them. It's disgusting. These people are terrible, terrible, disgusting people. And I kid you not, they would lock you up. They would lock me up if they could. They would lock you up if they could. We're on like Open Your Mind Truth Stream tonight. It's an Alex Jones kind of night. Beck's Fire. Exactly. They hate your freedom, not theirs. Freedom is good so long as you agree. John Whalen says, fire, water, burn by the Bloodhound Gang option. Yes. Saw Bloodhound Gang live. Good show. Good show. The roof. The roof. Tim Cook. Tim Cook. Tim Cook is on fire. That's referring to his gayness. Gay slave owner Tim Cook. Might I add, gay slave owner promoting anti-gay warlords in Africa. Really horrible. But here's the thing. And Fred Leggett, you're right. Corporate success by way of crony capitalism and government protection is probably a bad thing. Generally, I will agree with you. I will agree with you in principle on that, brother, all day. All day. But here's the thing. These people preach against corporate power, corporate control, corporate dollars and elections, but notice who they pick. The small corporations. They don't want the Koch brothers. Koch? They probably want the Koch brothers, not the Koch brothers. They don't want the Koch brothers influencing politics, but they want Apple to influence it. That's the dream, is to have Apple influence them. It's disgusting. These people have no moral or ideological consistency. They are nothing. You want the real lizard men? We're Alex Jones hour. Full on Alex Jones. You want the real lizard men? It's the political chameleons whose politics are whatever is politically expedient for their totalitarian control of your mind. They're after your mind. It's disgusting. I'm done with these people. I loathe them. They are the danger to our society. They're a cancer upon it. And we excise them with speech so that someone else doesn't excise them with guns. Kika Gazumi says, love your Mark Wade stream, and this one is great as well. Keep up the good work. Oh, buddy, as I care less and less about the Apples and Twitters and tweeters on Twitter of the world, this will increase, my friend. So stay tuned. We've got a lot more coming. And tell your friends, I'm about to hit 10K subs, and I can't wait to see what happens next. All right. It offers payment processing services, this it being PayPal. Through its PayPal.com online platform, and is one of the most prominent and frequently used payment processing services in the world. Jurisdiction. Court has jurisdiction. You've got complete diversity of the parties because you've got a Texas corporation and a Delaware corporation. Principal office in Texas, principal office in Delaware. You have complete diversity of the citizenship, and Alex Jones is for sure requesting higher than $75,000 in damages. Jurisdiction's not an issue. I'm not going to read it. If you want a jurisdictional lesson, DM me when I'm less drunk. Couldn't you say the same about pro-Trump politicians? I don't know what you're referring to, Where Tiger Ray. Maybe. Clarify for me in the comments and I will come back to it. I just don't remember. I don't know exactly what you're referring to because of the time delay. So if you help me out with it, I'll help clarify my position. Intradistrict district assignment. This county arose in Santa Clara. Action arose in Santa Clara County, and that PayPal is headquartered in that county and committed the acts accompanied in this complaint in that county. Accordingly, pursuant to local rules, the clerk shall assign the action to San Jose Division. Okay, so the injury occurred in San Jose. A lot of times where the injury occurs is where the plaintiff is located. In this case, the action that is the proximate cause of the damages was PayPal refusing service, which happened in San Jose. Oh, about things being politically expedient. Yes. And guys, if you want to know why I've never been a Trump fan, it's because I worry about totalitarian leftism and rightism in equal measure. Even when they're short-term beneficial, I worry on principle. So absolutely, I think the Trump fans can be held to account for that. Although right now, if I'm choosing between leftist totalitarianism and rightist totalitarianism, I'm choosing the right. I don't want to choose any of it. I don't want any of it. But I will choose the right for now because it's the one that doesn't end up with me dead in the grave I was forced to dig because I won't lick the boot of the state. And if you don't think that's coming, leftists kill. They really do. They don't apologize for violence. Look at that. I mean, it's a microcosmic example. But look at that man baby up in Canada who did the weakest sauce kick I've ever seen to knock the cell phone out of the hands of a woman simply because she thinks a baby should be able to live. Like, you can disagree with the pro-life argument all you want, but destruction of property, assault, battery, that guy couldn't win a bar fight with a sock, and he's out kicking women? My God, can that guy try and kick me so I could just kill him with my bare hands? Please? And scream, "This is what a man is," like the entire time in some sort of lunatic rage? Because I'm so tired of these flimsy little pansies enacting all of the violence when we've been restraining ourselves from violence the entire time. Why did they get to have the fun? Come on! All right. Back to it. Plaintiff owns and operates the websites. The views and opinions expressed on articles and audiovisual programming on these news sites are controversial. Politically conservative audience, same thing. News sites provide links to the news sites provide links to the store site, but the news sites do not actually use PayPal. Store site sells products using the payment processing service PayPal. Recently, a number of large tech companies started to remove Plaintiff and its content from these companies' online platforms solely due to the political viewpoints expressed on the news sites. These platforms include Facebook, Twitter, and the Apple App Store, YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, Pinterest, LinkedIn, MailChimp, and Vimeo. That's a serial joke. On September 21st, 2018, after 18 years of service and without any prior warning, defendant PayPal notified the plaintiff in a phone call. In 10 business days, it would issue a permanent limitation on plaintiff PayPal accounts. Limitation would be permanent and cannot be appealed. The limitation will prevent plaintiff from withdrawing, sending, or receiving money through PayPal, effectively preventing it from using the PayPal accounts at all. The loss of the PayPal accounts and future ability to use PayPal will significantly reduce plaintiff's income in an amount that is not susceptible to calculation. But more importantly, PayPal deciding to kick plaintiff off its platform has harmed the legitimacy of plaintiff as a news organization in the eyes of the general public and has already led to a loss of goodwill. And guys, as many jokes as are included in the idea that InfoWars has lost its goodwill with the public because it's been kicked off of PayPal, InfoWars has definitely lost traffic by being kicked off of all of these platforms. If it's not easy, people stop going. Why do you think everybody spends so much time on SEO? There are you dedicated fans out there who are dedicated to whatever things. Content providers like me, we love you. We love you for doing that. Thank you so much. Most people who follow us, who consume any kind of content or product, don't do it. They don't do the work. If it's easy, it's there. If it's not easy, something else is. So if you guys don't understand that argument because you're the type of people who are diligent and follow up with people and really do consume the content you want to do, you are our best friends and biggest allies in this world. But we also need the dummies who barely know we exist, but watch our stuff and consume our content because it's easy. Because it's easy. We need all of them. We need all of them. So when Alex Jones gets kicked off of all of the ways to easily find him, he's done. He's done. And it's not about credibility. It's about simple accessibility. If your grandma can't find it on the internet, it doesn't exist enough. All right? Okay. The purported basis for the permanent limitation PayPal provided is that content on the news site violated PayPal's so-called acceptable use policy. Specifically, a PayPal representative stated that after extensively looking at the news site, PayPal determined instances that promoted hate and discriminatory intolerance against certain communities and religions. Certain ones that wear hijabs, right? Is there a "they're stealing our hijabs" meme? They're taking our hijabs. The AU policy provides 4 categories of prohibited activities. Notably, the prohibited activities only provide that a user may not, quote, use the PayPal service for activities that fall into one or more of the following categories. Subparagraph 2 of the prohibited activities section provides that a user may not use PayPal for activities that relate to transactions involving F, the promotion of hate, violence, racial or other forms of intolerance that is discriminatory, or the financial exploitation of a crime. Guys, press F for hate. PayPal's fixing it. One fat guy at a time. These terms are purposely vague and could conceivably and unconscionably be applied to any speech at all given the opaque manner in which PayPal has applied them. Absolutely. Absolutely. The AU policy mentions nothing about evaluating a user's off-platform activities as a basis for finding that the user has violated the policy. Ed Chambers says, don't forget about those poor sweet Satanists. How could I? How could I? They did a blood ritual that etched them into my memory. PayPal's user agreement, the UA, lays out, among other things, when PayPal may terminate a user's PayPal account or issue a limitation on it. The UA explains that account limitations are implemented to help protect PayPal buyers and sellers when we notice restricted activities or activity that appears to us as unusual or suspicious. Guys, this is BS. They have immunity under Section 230 beyond knowledge. Okay, this is another... I got to do a separate video on 230, but 230 protects publishers who have actual knowledge, right? A publisher is making an editorial decision and curating a specific thing. So they have actual knowledge that something exists on their platform that shouldn't be there, like defamation or child porn or murder or something like that. Distributors have a higher standard for liability called constructive knowledge. Okay? So they have to... Publishers are held to the standard that they're expected to know things. I think I'm massacring how this comes out, and I apologize. It's the gin. It's the gin. Let me state it in plain terms. Publishers do know what's on their site because they choose actively to publish it, okay? Distributors might not know unless it's brought to their attention that something illegal is there. This is outside of Section 230, but this is how 230 was created. So you've got publishers who definitely know, distributors who might be alerted to it. Distributors are not liable for criminal content until they're alerted to it reasonably. Like a bunch of people informing them publicly or one person showing that they informed them in private, okay? That's the two sort of standards. PayPal doesn't have a standard. It's under Section 230 immunity. They don't even have the like specific someone let you know knowledge standard. It's just immune. They're just immune. So their contract is lying to all of us because there's nothing they need to do to protect them. They can just remove anything once they're informed and be just fine. And even if they don't, once they're informed, they're still gonna be fine because Congress thought fit to give them unlimited protection. Maddie P, does Section 230 have anything to say about Section 8s? You mean Section 8 housing? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't, but... Okay, here we go. Limitations also help us collect information necessary for keeping your PayPal account open. Sure they do. The UA provides several examples of situations where PayPal might issue a limitation, including if we reasonably believe you have violated the acceptable use policy. Because all the examples are directed at activity that involves risky, fraudulent, or illegal financial transactions, PayPal tells its users that it will not issue a limitation based on off-platform activity. Reasonable. The UA states that, quote, if we change the user agreement in a way that reduces your rights or increases your responsibilities, we will provide you a 30 days prior notice by posting notice on the policy updates page of our website. Despite the UA specifically incorporating and referencing the AU policy, PayPal did not provide plaintiff with any notice of the June 15th revisions of the AU policy. In fact, the current version of the policy updates page on PayPal's website is dated April 19th and makes no reference to the changes to the AU policy. Plaintiff derives a significant portion of its revenue from products sold on the store site. There is no adequate payment alternative to PayPal for plaintiff's business model, as PayPal has eliminated competitors and has taken a dominant market position in online payment processing. Again, they took a dominant position and will enjoy the benefits of all the regulation that will keep further competition away. Oh, Section 8s are military ejections due to mental instability. No, I got nothing on it. That's not in 230 to my knowledge. I thought you were talking about Section 8 housing, which is government subsidized housing programs. At least it is in Minnesota. I don't know if it's federal or not. All right. Having effectively cornered the market, it is now using that market power to restrain conservative trade and commerce. The loss of PayPal would lead to the loss of revenue in an amount plaintiff cannot calculate. Worse, however, is that plaintiff has immediately lost and will continue to lose goodwill and prospective visitors of the news sites and customers of the store site if PayPal imposes its permanent litigation on plaintiff. Immediately after PayPal notified plaintiff of the ban, several national media outlets reported on it, using it as part of a narrative of tech companies ostracizing plaintiff and heralding the financial collapse of plaintiff's business. PayPal's decision to ban plaintiff has harmed plaintiff's goodwill with the general public, blah, 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 blah. So let's get to the legal claims. First claim for relief, Unruh Civil Rights Act under Section 51. Plaintiff incorporates by reference each of the preceding paragraphs of this complaint as though fully set forth herein. Unruh Civil Rights Act guarantees that all persons are entitled to full and equal accommodations, advantages, facilities, privileges, or services in all business establishments of any kind whatsoever. Although the Unruh Act specifically forbids business establishment from discriminating based on sex, race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, disability, medical condition, genetic information, marital status, sexual orientation, citizenship, primary language, or immigration status, the statutorily enumerated list is illustrative and not exhaustive of the characteristics on which business establishments may not discriminate. This is where we get into public policy arguments that are not backed up by any sort of authority. Joshua Perry, yes. Communications Decency Act. Well, maybe I need to get Randazza on my show. Maybe that's what we need to do. If he's a free speech guy, I'm a free speech guy. We can drink together and circle jerk about Tim Cook being a giant slave-owning gay man. Discrimination based on political affiliation or ideology is forbidden under UNRWA as it is a personal characteristic. PayPal is a business establishment under UNRWA, as it is a business which provides services to the general public that is headquartered in California. PayPal began the process of imposing a permanent limitation on plaintiffs' PayPal accounts due to the content on plaintiffs' news sites that, according to PayPal, allegedly promote hate and discriminatory intolerance against certain communities and religions. The news sites contain content that expresses negative views against politically liberal people, communists, commies, socialists, and religious fanatics. Contributors to the news sites, including Mr. Jones, have often criticized specific members of political parties, including former President George W. Bush, did 9/11, and former candidate Hillary R. Clinton, who also did 9/11 twice. StoreSite also sells several literary works by politically conservative authors that criticize politically liberal individuals and organizations. On information and belief, it is highly political content that PayPal claims constitutes a violation of its AU policy. PayPal will thus immediately ban Plaintiff from its publicly accessible platform because of the political views expressed on the news sites and the views of the authors and literature on the store site. PayPal is restraining Plaintiff's commerce because it is politically conservative and sells to a conservative audience. PayPal's actions amount to discrimination based on political viewpoint and affiliation, which is forbidden under UNRWA. Plaintiff has suffered and will continue to suffer economic harm in excess of $75,000. Number 48 is interesting. Yeah, that's a policy argument. I don't know that that's laid out in California law. It is in the employment side. In the employment side, it is clearly illegal to discriminate based on political characteristics. On the civil side, individually, outside of the scope of employment, I don't know about that. Oh. I'd do a show with Stefan. I disagree with him on a lot of stuff, but that's okay. That's okay, right? Isn't that the whole point of everything? I think we're ultimately on the same side. We just have some specific disagreements. Not an argument. Not an argument. All right. Second claim for relief, unlawful, unfair business practices. Defendant's acts and conduct as alleged above constitute unlawful acts. Okay, so the way this, I'm not going to read this section. The way these practices work is if you violate something that gives you a business advantage, some other statute that's giving you a business advantage, or causing harm through business, you violate these professional code or these business codes. I'm not going to read this section because it takes a long time. And just trust me. Just trust me. You know what's interesting about Stefan Molly meme? You say that he thinks he's smarter than he actually is. I don't think he does. I've noticed him self-deprecate his intelligence numerous times, saying that there's a bunch of smarter people out there. However, what he'll say, which I think I agree with, is that he has spent a lot of time honing his craft, working on his arguments, and really trying to be as intellectually consistent as possible. And I'll give him credit for that, because I think he holds on to some things that he maybe shouldn't focus on so heavily. I don't think he argues that he's super smart. Maybe he does somewhere. But I think he argues that he worked really hard to get to where he is. And I'll give him credit from that. For sure. Third claim, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. So any contract has an implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, that when you're entering into a contractual relationship with another party, that you're doing so on good faith terms and pretenses, and you'll deal with them fairly as you would with anyone else. Pretty basic, right? Like you're not trying to screw someone over when you're going into a formal contract. All right. Plaintiff, by accepting PayPal's UA and using its services, entered into a contract with PayPal. Under California law, there's implied covenant, good faith, and fair dealing in every contract that neither party will do anything which will injure the right to the other party to receive the benefits of the agreements. PayPal and its take it or leave it contract of adhesion. If you listen to me, you'll know all about contracts of adhesion, because it's a freaking wet dream of corporatists and globalists to force you into non-negotiable contracts to use their precious services. And they're disgusting. and you're under them all the time, even when you don't know it. Like when you fly on a plane, you're admitting to an adhesion contract. When you take a cruise ship, buddy, you're under an adhesion contract. You better not listen, or they'll just leave you in the Dominican Republic to be sold to Tim Cook's slave trade. All right. Take it or leave it contract of adhesion provides itself with broad unilateral power to terminate or restrict a user's PayPal account for a variety of reasons, including for violation of the AU policy. AU policy is also extremely broad, allowing actions up to termination for promoting in PayPal's sole subjective view intolerance that is discriminatory. It's impossible to discern what conduct is actually prohibited under the AU policy. I'm going to start summarizing because the liquor is hitting and I want to eat. It is further impossible to discern what is actually prohibited, since PayPal joyfully accepts the business of many people and businesses that any reasonable person could call intolerant, hateful, or discriminatory. However, they're applied arbitrarily and capriciously. In issuing the limitation, PayPal took an arbitrary view of the prohibited conduct on the AU policy, well beyond what any reasonable user would think is prohibited, to engage in viewpoint discrimination against conservatives. It also premised its actions on activity plaintiff took completely separate from the PayPal service, despite providing no indication it would do this. PayPal's provided no prior notice to plaintiff that it would broaden the scope of its AU policy, which it then used as a basis. Finally, PayPal made its decision without any prior notice to plaintiff and without any opportunity to challenge or appeal its decision. None of these activities show a fair exercise of PayPal's broad authority under its contract with plaintiff. PayPal's actions, even if they do not violate any express terms of the contract, flagrantly violate the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. Plaintiff has suffered and will continue to suffer economic harm, blah, 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 blah. Demand for a jury trial, prayer for relief, general damages based on defendant's conduct as alleged herein, and an amount to be determined at trial. Actual damages based on defendant's conduct as alleged herein, and an amount to be determined at trial. Punitive damages, pre-judgment and post-judgment interest at the rate allowed by law. Reasonable attorney's fees and expensive litigation. Injunctive relief prohibiting defendant from imposing a permanent limitation of plaintiff's PayPal accounts and all other reliefs to which plaintiff may be entitled. Randazza Legal Group. There we go. There we go. All right, guys. All right. That's what I got. That's what I got tonight. I'm gassed out. I got too mad at Tim Cook for owning a bunch of slaves and trying to impose his white slave owner minority position on us. We have all moved well past that. Back in 1865, Tim Cook, we decided you can't own people. Unfortunately, Tim Cook thinks you can own people. And if you talk about gay frogs and Charlie Sheen's hernia, you gotta go. You gotta go. I don't necessarily disagree, except that no one's gotta go. No one's gotta go. When do monopoly laws come into play? When do they come into play? When the court or the Congress want them to. That's it. It's arbitrary, buddy. MLB has a recognized monopoly. Recognized monopolies are everywhere. They're everywhere. They're always okay. They're always okay when they're on the side of whatever is politically expedient for the day. They're not okay when someone made too much money by working hard. Honestly, you want to find out what monopolies are good or like okay, I should say, what monopolies are legally okay and what monopolies aren't legally okay. You find the monopoly where a person legitimately worked hard, created a better product, and worked their way to the top. That monopoly's not okay. You find a company that sucked at the teat of government long enough to get them to enforce the monopoly for them, and it's just flippin' fine. That's how you determine the two differences. Joshua Perry, I don't know if it's a Supreme Court decision or a statute, but it's one of them. I'll probably talk about it eventually. I'll probably talk about it when I'm wearing like a button-up shirt, but like the top 3 buttons are buttoned to different things and it's all mangled up and my hair's everywhere and I'm on meth or whatever. Did I ever contact Craig Sawyer? I don't think so. Who's Craig Sawyer? If you could remind me to do it on Twitter when I've got a little bit more memory faculty, I'd really appreciate it. I'm not opposed. I probably just slipped my mind. What do we do about this? Get loud. Get loud. Support platforms that don't do it. It's up to us. It's not up to Congress. Congress can't do anything good for you. Michelle Mead, here. Let me help you. Michelle? I don't know. Michaela? I don't know what it is. Send it to me there. Send it to me there. All right, guys. Let me preview the rest of this week. If you're still with me, thank you so much. It's been a great stream. I really have enjoyed it, even though I'm probably about to die. We who about to die salute you. It's been a great stream. It really has. Let me preview this week. Tomorrow we've got an interview with Bonitis. Bonitis is a furry artist. He tends to draw, if I understand correctly, sexually explicit commissions for furry art. He and I are going to talk about pedophilia in the fur community, how they are fighting against the stuff. Medicare's been talking about this and hammering on it. We've got Bonitis. He will be drawing on stream. He has assured me that it will be safe for consumption on my channel. So come watch a fantastic artist. Whatever you think of like the content of his art, come watch him draw a fantastic piece of apparently family-friendly art. We're going to talk about getting pedophiles, animal rapists, necrophilia, zoophiliacs out of the pedo community, or out of the fur community, what the fur community is doing on that. I don't know anything about the fur community, so he's going to be my fur Sherpa or Furpa through this whole thing. He's a good dude who's really concerned about his hobby, his pastime, the world he lives in, and he wants to make sure that they're not abusing people. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Friday, to my comics fans out there, guys, if you're a comic fan, I was too. I was on a comic podcast today. I'm starting to get back into comics. I'm really intrigued. I love Comicsgate, guys. I love what they're doing. It hits all of my free market boners right in the testicles. It hits me right in the feels. I love it. I love what they're doing. Friday, we've got Ethan Van Sciver, Papa Caesar, the Sultan of Pie. He's going to be here. He's going to be debating Jason Youngblood. Jason Youngblood tweets the Dramagate tweets, if you've seen them. If you follow Comicsgate, you may have seen Jason Youngblood's tweets about Dramagate. They're satirical, but they are critical of Comicsgate. He is critical of Comicsgate. They're going to have a debate about Comicsgate. And I can't for the life of me remember what he messaged. 1 second. We're going to talk about... we've got the main topic coming here. Bear with me. The main topic is going to be, is Comicsgate a racket? And is Comicsgate contaminated by the alt-right? After my last debate I had with Ethan and Thomas Roylup, people thought Thomas Roylup put up an abysmal showing. I like Thomas very much. I think he was off his game that night. But after that, Jason Youngblood messaged me and said, I can debate Ethan better than Thomas can, with better challenges, and I'm a comics pro, and I won't have a performance like Thomas. So, come Friday night, 11 p.m., Ethan and Jason Youngblood will be debating what Comicsgate is, if its soul is tainted by the alt-right. Hopefully it will be spicy. There will be blood sports. I will be moderating, attempting to remain neutral, and challenging both guests with stuff that comes up. But as I get drunk, we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for doing this and helping me out. Thank you for helping me get to 10,000 subs, which is coming up. Get me to 10,000 subs. I'll have a special video. I don't know. Maybe we'll do like a 6-hour live stream. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm trying to figure that out. Check out Patreon. Check me out on Twitter. I hate shilling all this stuff. I hate shilling anything, but you guys are giving me the opportunity to have a new career in doing this, or having a different, I shouldn't say a new career, a different career that combines my legal education, my passion for law and freedom, my passion for entertaining and educating people. It allows me to do all of that and impact way more people than I can in a courtroom. So please, please keep supporting me. Tell your friends who you think would be interested. Thank you so much for all of this. And if I can cover various topics, tell me when I'm less intoxicated so that I remember in various ways. And if you need questions, if you need real legal help too, please contact me. If I can't help you, chances are I can help you get attached to someone if you need to know. So if you're in a bad spot, let me know. I will help you in any way I can. And if you're a law student finally and you need some encouragement, let me know as well. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to blank out this stream before I start blathering I love you and sleeping on my desk and forget to hit stop. So you guys have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Interview with Bonitis. Peace.